Hello students and welcome. The Government of India has unveiled a new education policy this year that looks to equip students with education that will help them to build a better future. The aim, as stated by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, is to transform India. Education is the best way to transform a society, and this is exactly how the British rulers looked at it as well during their imperial rule over India. This is what we are going to look at as we begin our new chapter, Civilizing the Native, Educating the Nation. In our earlier chapters this year, we have looked at how the British came to India as traders and settled as rulers, displacing Rajas, Nawabs, peasants as well as tribals. In this chapter, we will look at how the British rule affected the students in India, students like you who were till then going to schools that were known as pathshalas. The British felt it was their duty to civilize the natives. Here the term natives refers to the people of India, the original inhabitants of India. And they wanted to educate the Indian people in order to civilize them, meaning they wanted to transform them into better, law-abiding citizens. No doubt the British introduced the English education and the English language in India, but there were a few British officials who believed that the ancient scriptures of India were treasure troves of knowledge and culture. That brings us to our subtopic, the tradition of Orientalism. William Jones was one such officer who was a linguist, meaning he was a master of many languages. He had learned Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Arabic and Persian. By the end of his life, he had learned 28 languages, including Sanskrit and Chinese. Jones discovered that his interests were shared by many British officials living in Calcutta at the time. Englishmen like Henry Thomas Colebrook and Nathaniel Halhed were also busy discovering the ancient Indian heritage, mastering Indian languages and translating Sanskrit and Persian works into English. Together with them, Jones set up the Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784 and also started a journal called Asiatic Researches. William Jones was knighted in 1783 and was appointed as Judge of the Supreme Court in Calcutta. By establishing the Asiatic Society of Bengal, he encouraged Oriental studies. He himself took up Sanskrit to equip himself for the preparation of a vast digest of Hindu and Muslim law. From this venture, his Institutes of Hindu Law was published in 1794 and his Mohammedan Law of Inheritance in 1792. In his 1786 presidential discourse to the Asiatic Society, he put forth his ideas on the common ancestry of Sanskrit, Latin and Greek, with his findings providing the impetus for the development of comparative linguistics in the early 19th century. So he was looking at Sanskrit, Latin, Greek having a common ancestry. Until Jones's death in 1794, the Asiatic Society was the vehicle for his ideas about the importance of Hindu culture and learning, and about the vital role of Sanskrit in the Aryan languages. This project, they believed, would not only help the British learn from Indian culture, but it would also help Indians rediscover their own heritage and understand the lost glories of their past. Influenced by such ideas, many company officials argued that the British ought to promote Indian rather than Western learning. They felt that institutions should be set up to encourage the study of ancient Indian texts and to teach Sanskrit and Persian literature and poetry. With this object in view, a Madrasah was set up in Calcutta in 1781 by British Governor-General Warren Hastings to promote the study of Arabic, Persian and Islamic law. Similarly, the Hindu College was established in Benares in 1791 to encourage the study of ancient Sanskrit texts that would be useful for the administration of the country. In this manner, the British hoped to win a place in the hearts of the natives in order to obtain respect from them for the British rulers in India. This statue of Warren Hastings, that is now in the Victoria Memorial in Kolkata, depicts how Orientalists thought of British power in India. Governor-General Warren Hastings needed Indian scholars to enlighten them about local customs and laws, which was to be the basis of British rule in India. However, not all British officials agreed with the Orientalist vision of learning. Critics said that knowledge of the East was full of errors and unscientific thought. James Mill was one of those who attacked the Orientalists. According to him, the aim of education ought to be to teach what was useful and practical, and not some poetry and sacred literature. He was of the opinion that Indians should be made familiar with the scientific and technical advances of the Western world. Another critic, Thomas Macaulay, saw India as an uncivilized country that needed to be civilized. He declared that a single shelf of a good European library was worth the whole native literature of India and Arabia. In his treatise, Minute on Education, Macaulay emphasized the need to teach the English language, arguing that the knowledge of English would allow Indians to read some of the finest literature the world had produced. And that it would make the Indians aware of the developments in Western science and philosophy. Teaching of English could thus be a way of civilizing people, changing their tastes, values, and culture, according to Thomas Macaulay. Macaulay's Minute on Education found favor with the Governor-General of India, William Bentinck. Thus, the English Education Act of 1835 was introduced. The decision was to make English the medium of instruction for higher education. Besides, English textbooks were published for schools, so much so that till date there is a demand in India for English medium schools. With that, we conclude this subtopic and will look at other aspects in our next video. Thank you.